Back in 2008, we were in Berlin, we were a church of around 130 people, but without any full-time leadership. That was a vulnerable situation where everyone was trying to help out where it's possible. Also back then, we decided we need a leadership group so that we can pull the loose ends sort of together. But that was difficult because we all came from different backgrounds, and I think also, it was not so easy to trust one another. Thanks to the EMS, we were privileged to have Scott and Lynne Green, first as coaches together with others, like the Kohas, to help us as a group just being coached and how to actually work more effectively together. And then eventually, the Greens decided to move to Berlin and really be the ones leading this leadership group. What we've really learned there is to be honest and vulnerable with each other, to be trusting of each other, to trust each other's motives, and at the same time not to be afraid of diverging opinions. In the kingdom of God, disagreement is not necessarily a bad thing if you manage to work it through.
And I think we went through a very, very healthy process, accepting also the weaknesses in each other and accepting our weakness as a church and accepting the need for help, the need for outside input. And this is where the EMS also stepped in and said, we're there for you and we're helping to show that there can be a stable financial plan for the next couple of years. And so that became then a viable situation, and that was such a relief, coming into a position where you think as a church not only what do we have to do, but what do we want to do next.
And part of the leadership team stepped forward and said, we want to hear from the young generation. We want to have an opportunity where we sit down and we give the younger generation, the next generation, an opportunity to have a voice. We had people preaching, a lot of younger men and women preaching in front of church, which was incredible. And the next generation now feels like, in many ways, this is our church.
Because the Bible speaks about your next generations all the time, working together and deciding together what we want this church to be.
As a disciple, you want to see things happen, right? And there were some goals that we wanted to see happen. Mm-hmm. One goal was that we will have an elder one day. That's not an easy process. It takes time for us, but we are hopeful that it will happen in the future, that we will see it.
Soon.
And the other thing that we wanted to see is that we could start a church in another city and send out a mission team. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happening right now. Martis and Miriam are leading the mission team to Frankfurt.
Developing from this, I not only want to do something, let's do something. Becoming a venturing church where we're really taking risks, really sending people, sending funds, working on a complete new level.
The leadership team is very unified, I would say. Yeah. We all know what's coming, what's in front of us, what Martis and Miriam are leaving. And for us as a leadership team, it was important to communicate that there's a process where we all stand behind, and
mm-hmm.
it's us as a church sending them out.
Yeah, just we prayed for a dream, and we just really had this dream, and God made really clear which town, which city, and where to go. It wasn't only our decision. He just made it clear.
I remember when they went there last summer, spying and looking around, they came back so excited with so many good news. And that was obvious that God was opening a door there for us. Mm-hmm. So we had no doubts. We were fully supportive.
I think especially now with Martis and Miriam leaving and we're having no more full-time couple, the leadership team has to kind of reorganize themselves. Everybody's such great friends. There's such a cool dynamic. And now how we want to bring in Austin and Sarah when they move here from the States.
Yes.
That's also going to add a new dimension of next gen into the group.
And this year was so special because we're planting a church. So much prayer was behind this. It encompassed next generation, teens. That inspires us as a church. That inspires us as a young generation that has hope for the future here in Berlin. Because the church is growing. There's growth, there's vibrancy. And add that on top that we're having Frankfurt planting. It's just an exciting time. It really is.